We are going to talk first and foremost about boys basketball and the Warwick Warriors really having a good season. We were kind of hoping to come on here and celebrate that they had won the Section 2 title outright, but a little bit of a hiccup last night. So they are still in a tie here for it, guys. They do have the Section 2 clinched as far as a potential tie. But Eric, we are coming down to the last game on Friday against Lebanon, and that's for basically for all of it. You either have it yourself or you're going to share it with Lebanon. How are you feeling ahead of this game?
Well, I tell you what, this over the last couple of seasons, this Lebanon and Warwick matchup has really turned into a pretty nice rivalry. The last couple of years, they've given us some really exciting ball games, tremendous talent on both sides. And, you know, you look at it, who has been the thorn in the side all of a sudden for both of these schools is Conestoga Valley. Warwick has lost to them twice. CV stuns Lebanon the other night in overtime in an absolute shootout. So the Buckskins have had a lot to say as to who might win this Section 2 title.
And, yeah, they won that game, triple overtime, which is just incredible. We are actually able to kind of make an announcement here on the show as we are pivoting our coverage on Friday night to the Warwick-Lebanon game. So we will actually have that contest live on Blue Ridge 11 here Friday night. Excited for that. You know, these games are so big when it comes down to right to the last game for a section title. We decided we're going to switch to it. So we'll be over in Lidditz covering the ball game. We'll see if Tate Landis and the guys can take out Lebanon. Both of these teams are the defending co-Section 2 champs, so they're right back at it here again. And it is very exciting to be able to be there for one last game here to decide it all. Tim, how you feeling about 4 straight section titles for Warwick? By the way, should mention, ever since they moved down to Section 2, they've won a section title 4 years in a row. That's got to be impressive.
Well, it's certainly a great program that has been building over the last 4 or 5 years. If I just go back to the Conestoga Valley game last night, looking in the box score, guys, I saw that Warwick put Conestoga Valley on the foul line 36 times last night. Warwick went there 25. So I just wonder what was going on in that game that they were getting so many people at the foul line. Now, granted, it looks like that CV was winning in the fourth quarter, and I'm sure Warwick was fouling, but my gosh, 61 times they went to the free throw line, both schools. That is crazy. But Eric, you talk about the free throws, 11 free throw differential. Lebanon won that, or excuse me, Conestoga Valley won that game by 10. So Warwick has got to really limit the fouls. Also in that game, Warwick coming into that ball game playing great defense, as you guys have seen all year, Eric, just 46 points a game. So last night gave up a lot more on the defensive end. So they're going to have to really shore things up defensively. And Eric, they cannot put Lebanon on the line 36 times on Friday night.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on there. Eric, any last thoughts about Warwick before we move on?
Well, and you know, they've got Lebanon Friday night, then they end the season Tuesday versus Solanco. Lebanon still has another game with Conestoga Valley on Tuesday. So there's still a lot to be determined, you know, as far as this race is concerned. You know, Lebanon's got Warwick Friday, then they play Lower Dauphin on Monday, and then CV on Tuesday. So if Warwick can win this game Friday night, that should pretty much wrap it up for them. They've got a Solanco team that's down this year, under 500. You know, on paper, a game that they should win as well. But I'm sure Coach Christensen and the Warriors are not even thinking about Solanco right now. Their main focus is going to be Friday night on the Cedars.
So Warwick has lost to CV 2 of 3 times this year, and both times they have given up over 70 points in the loss. I know Coach Christensen wasn't happy about that back in December. Obviously not going to be happy about it from last night. Let's show you real quick the section standings, because this is kind of really where it comes down to. As Warwick had a 2-game lead over Lebanon heading into last night, their loss gives them 3. Lebanon stays at 4. So if Lebanon beats Warwick and wins a couple more games in the section, they will tie, they'll share, and then power rankings will decide, you know, who is going to be the champ and get the home game and who will be the runner-up. But for all intents and purposes, If Lebanon wins, they will share it with Warwick. If Warwick wins, they will win the section title outright. All right, let's move on to Manheim Central. And they're in Section 3 competing for a shot to get into the league playoffs. Last night we saw a game where Manheim Central and Garden Spot kind of went back and forth, and Garden Spot came out with a bit of a shocking result head-to-head. So now Manheim's got some work to do here, Eric. How did you feel about what happened, what you saw last night between the Barons and the Spartans?
Well, both teams got out to a bit of a sluggish start, and shots just weren't falling. But, leading into this game, talking to Central coach Charlie Fisher before the game, he said, this is a tough Garden Spot team. They're a tough out. They got a lot of underclassmen, and he said they come ready to play. And Coach Nate Musselman knew coming in he was going to have a lot of these underclassmen. So he challenged the seniors, saying, look, you guys have got to step up. If you don't step up, underclassmen are going to take your spot. And the seniors responded in a big way last night. Now, looking at the rest of the schedule, though, even though the Barons really wanted to try and get this win and solidify their spot, the schedule is much more favorable for them over the last couple of games. They've got Solanco Friday night. They're 2-13. Then they're home against Cocalico on Tuesday. Cocalico 5 games under 500. Garden Spot on the other side, their remaining 3 games at Elko, at LS, and then at CV. And CV right now is a game under 500, but as I mentioned earlier, knocking off Lebanon and then knocking off Warwick. So CV playing some really, really good basketball right now. That's going to be a tough road for Garden Spot. But again, they're in that position where they just have to focus on the game at hand. They can't look at what lies ahead. And credit to the Spartans, they stepped up last night and got that big win.
Yeah, at home on their home floor. Let's show you the standings. LS has already clinched the section. They are having an incredible year, by the way. The Pioneers are running an undefeated year right now at 18-0. They've already clinched it last week. So Manheim and Garden Spot at 6-5, as you had mentioned, are duking it out for that second spot into the league playoffs next Friday night. But Garden Spot's schedule a little bit tougher as they have to play Lampeter Strasburg, who no one has been able to solve. All right, let's get Tim's thoughts real quick here on Manheim as they are trying to make it back into the playoffs here. Off to a bit of a slow start, but have played well since those 2 first games of the season. And of course, Trey Grube is their scoring threat. Was leading the league, but is just second place by like minuscule points now, tenths of a point.
Yeah, he's like at 20.47, so just a little bit out of that first place in scoring. But, guys, looking at it, I look at what Grube and Thompson are doing as far as the three-point range. I haven't seen them play in person yet, but my gosh, are they great. 65 three-pointers for Grube, Thompson with 40, 105 three-pointers. So they obviously can shoot. And, Eric, you talked about that game last night. They were down 11-2 after the first quarter, and you said it was just sort of sluggish. They just couldn't make anything. Is that right?
Yeah, and a lot of it, I got to give a lot of credit to Dylan Nolt of Garden Spot. I mean, he was on top of Trey Grube. He had no room to really step back or maneuver, move, dribble right, dribble left. I mean, he did have some open shots that he worked on, but for the most part, Nolt was just a blanket on Grube, and you could see as the game went on, the frustration building on the face of Trey Grube. But you know what? I'm sure he's faced that all season long, and he stepped up 62 3-pointers going into last night.
That's unreal.
He'll see more of those type of defenses, but he's got the talent to obviously work around that and make opposing defenses pay for it.
Well, we were hoping for a milestone night last night on television, but we missed it. And we'll show you here kind of what we're talking about as Trey Grube's cooking up something special here in his career at Manheim Central. Just a junior, by the way, and with his 20 points last night, which is right around his average, 977 for his career. So that puts him 23 away from joining the 1,000-point club that you can see over on the right side. 6 guys are there for Manheim Central. Grube looking to be the 7th. They have Solanko on Friday, then Kikalico, Daniel Boone. So you'd have to think he's going to get there, Eric. You were hoping that it was going to be yesterday. It could be Friday, could be next week. But in general, it's been impressive what Trey Grube's been able to do. He's also kind of chasing down the three-point record over there that I have yet to be able to nail down, but he's at 182 for his career.
Yeah, so he needs 23 on Friday night against Solanko, and Charlie Fisher said he tried to get Daniel Boone to get the adjust the schedule so that they would be playing actually tonight because the game would be at home, hoping that when he does reach that milestone, he can do it on the home floor. But the way it looks now is that if he keeps pace the way he's been scoring, more than likely he's going to eclipse that mark on Friday at Solanko. And the thing is, when you put up that board, when it's all said and done, Trey Grube could end up being number 3 on that all-time list, which is just incredible.
Yeah, Matt Walsh currently is number 3 with 1,365. Tom Kneff is at 1,700. That's going to be tough to catch, even if Grube were to catch fire. And then obviously Taylor Funk at 1977, the all-time leading scorer, boys or girls, at Manheim Central. Your thoughts on Trey Grube quickly, Tim, before we dive into these LL boys playoffs?
Well, he's just a pure shooter. I'm thinking he's got at least 6 games left if you think he's going to the LL playoffs and maybe a couple of games in district. So if he keeps at his clip, he'll probably score at least another 120, 150 points. That puts him probably in 4th or 5th place. So I think you're right, Eric. He's probably going to be a solid 3rd place. Not sure he can get 700 points between now and next year, though.
All right, hey, let's take a look at the boys playoff bracket because there are just so many great matchups and some of our teams are in there, have a real good shot at it. For the boys, Hempfield having a great season in Section 1, so they stand atop there. But Manheim Central would potentially slot right into the first round, and Lebanon right there, as of right now, would slot in there as well in that playing game, and the winner of that would play LS. And then we can go ahead and flip to the next one as you see Warwick there versus Columbia. We had that a few years ago. This one would be even more electric, in my opinion. And then Township, as of right now, versus Section 4 champ Elko. So as we come back to Eric, our boys basketball play-by-play voice, I know you're excited about all of that, but when you focus on our teams and their matchups, what are your thoughts there?
Well, to see a potential Warwick and Columbia matchup, oh my goodness, that is that is just unbelievable if it would pan out that way. But then I don't know if we can put up that bracket again. You're talking about potentially having LS and Columbia as well. I mean, LS is a team that just shoots a ton of 3-pointers. Columbia just loves to run the floor. They can tally up points in the blink of an eye. That's why I said I think this bracket this year. I'm sorry, it was Lebanon.
Still be a good game.
Absolutely, yeah. And and Hempfield, again another solid season. So, this bracket on any given night, though, we can see it that a team can step up and knock off one of the top dogs. But I am really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Tim, your thoughts when you get to look at the boys bracket?
Tell you what, that intriguing matchup, Manheim Central and Hempfield, looks great. But I'm glad Warwick is in the bottom bracket. If they can get by Columbia, I think they've got a chance to make it all the way to the finals. But Eric, you are right. That Columbia team, just doing some quick math here, they're beating teams by an average of 29 points. 62 points are scoring, but defensively, Eric, just holding their opponents to 33 points. So what be a great test of the Warwick offense where they're scoring, in the mid 60s to see what Columbia can do.
Go ahead,
if I'm not mistaken too, who hosts that game is based on their power rating, and Columbia is like, it's got a tremendous rating. So they're going to pack that tiny gym down there in Columbia. That would be a sight to see.
Well, and there is a potential that both the boys and girls for Columbia could host playoff games at their building on, I believe, Saturday and Monday. So that would be really cool for the Columbia fans, obviously. For us, we would love to get that Warwick-Columbia game at Warwick just so that more fans could get in there, the TV crews could get in there, all of that. But that'll all be determined down the line. I think if Warwick keeps winning, they potentially could be a tiny bit higher than Columbia. All right. Let's pick a winner. Are we picking a winner, guys? Do you want to pick a winner there? Are you leaning one way, Eric, or you want to leave that? What are your thoughts?
Well, as far as the entire tournament?
Yeah. Do you have a winner in the boys? Anybody you're leaning?
I tell you what LS is doing this year is something special. And Charlie Fisher even admitted to me last night, he said, hands down, they are without a doubt the best team in 5A. So we're talking District 3. He feels that they are the top team. And I think top to bottom, what they're getting, outside scoring, 3-pointers, inside game, I mean, everything is clicking for the Pioneers at this point. Yeah, I know they're the number 1 seed. I'm going to ride that wave with them.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick. They're having an incredible season. Do you agree, or are you going another way there, Tim, real quick?
I agree with Eric. I don't see how you can go against a team who's undefeated and they're scoring 70 points a ball game. You have to go with them.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, again, they're having a fantastic season. They've got Trey Burton there too, although I think Ty Burton, he's been hurt a little bit.